You can see right of screen we have Kimi Antonelli. Joining us middle of screen we have Lance Stroll, and left of screen we have Liam Lawson. Very warm welcome to you all. Kimi, you look primed and ready with the microphone, so why don't we start with you. And let's take it back to Monza. You qualified close to George, you finished in the points, and Toto Wolff described your weekend afterwards as underwhelming. What did you make of his comments?
Well, I think I pretty understand this comment. You know, me and Toto were always very open to each other, and we talk to each other quite openly. And I think it was mainly about the race. You know, qualifying was actually pretty good. Despite the off in FP2. But then in the race, especially on the hard tire, I struggled a little bit, and also I did the mistake on the start. So I think it was mainly related to the race, which I agree on the comment, which wasn't the best, but as well I think I took it with positive as fuel to do even better for this race weekend.
Well, tell us more about this weekend. What do you need to do here to keep the boss happy?
Well, no, first of all, just trying to have clean sessions. In Monza, I went off in FP2 super early on, and I ended up not doing long runs. And I went completely blind into the race, didn't get to feel the car on high fuel at all. And so it was a bit difficult because I had to learn in the moment, and in the hard I just struggled to find my rhythm, so that was not ideal. But of course, the speed in qualifying was much better in Monza, so hopefully we can carry this into this weekend as well. But the main goal is just to have clean sessions and get as many laps as possible in the bag, and then deliver the job in quali and then race.
You finished on the podium here in the F2 feature race last year. Is it a track you enjoy driving on?
Yeah, it's a tricky track, quite bumpy in some of the brakings, which makes them pretty tricky. But as well, it's a good track. Track brake was quite low last year, so let's see how it's gonna be this year. But it's quite enjoyable. It's tricky, but it's enjoyable to drive.
And where are the team's expectations coming into Baku? Do you feel in recent races that you've lost a bit of ground to some of the guys in front of you?
Well, for sure, many teams they're bringing quite a lot of upgrades, which makes our life a bit harder because we're not bringing so much into the car because we're also focusing on next year. So that makes us to how can I say to be even more precise and even more perfect in some way. As a driver, you just need to maximize everything because the gap is so close now that every mistake you do, it punish you, and in quite a big way. So on my side as well, I need to try to do everything right in order to maximize the result. And about this weekend, it's tough to say because last year actually in the race the pace, I looked back at the plot, and the pace was actually pretty okay. So hopefully this weekend will be fast. But this year in those tracks where we were meant to be fast, we were not so fast, and those tracks where they struggled a bit more the previous year, we were fast this year. So it's gonna be we will see in the moment.
Kimi, thanks very much for that. Good luck to you. Lance, let's come to you now. I don't know if you have favourite racetracks, but if you did, is Baku one of them? 4 points finishes in 7 goes here, including that first podium back in 2017.
Yeah, good memories, for sure. It's a place I always enjoy coming back to. Like Kimi said, it's a challenging track. It has some tricky braking zones. So just finding the limit, in the braking zones is always a challenge coming here. But yeah, it's fun. You got to get close to the walls, and it's one of those places that's fun to drive when it all comes together.
And what are you expecting from the car here? I look at Hungary, I look at Zandvoort. You were very competitive at both of those races. You were in the points at both, yet you were less competitive last time out in Monza. What does that mean for Baku?
I don't know. We'll see. It's very tight in the midfields. There's not a lot in it between the teams. So yeah, we'll see how we go this week.
And the general trend for Aston since you introduced the upgrade at Imola has been upwards. So how do you view the rest of this season in terms of where do you think you're going to be particularly strong?
I don't know. We'll see. We've had some weekends the car's been competitive, and some weekends we've struggled a bit more. But yeah, just keep going and see how we go.
Give us a track. Do you think you'll be particularly good in Singapore, for example?
I think it looks that way. It looks like we're better on the higher downforce tracks, places with longer straights, more efficiency. I think we tend to struggle a little bit more, but we saw in Monza that it was still. I think the car was still competitive. Fernando was on for some points before had the suspension failure. So yeah, we'll see how we go this week.
All right, good luck with it. Thank you. And Liam, let's come to you now. Your car has been consistently quick pretty much everywhere. So how bullish are you feeling coming into this weekend?
Yeah, it's been pretty good. So I'm excited. I think Monza was not a true, show of form, to be honest. It definitely wasn't our strongest track if we compare it to others, probably similar to Lance. I think the higher downforce tracks we have done a little bit better at. So it'll be interesting here. Obviously, it's very low grip, especially start of the weekends. It's always quite a green track to build up to. And obviously a new track as well that I haven't done in Formula 1 before. But yeah, I think the consistency's been good. We're just always chasing the small margins.
What about the quali pace? I mean, explain Monza to us, because the car was quick there, yet quali didn't really work out. What were the issues there?
We didn't really have any issues. We just went for an aggressive run plan that didn't work out in the end. I think we you can always look back. Obviously, we look back on every weekend, and hindsight's a great thing. And I think looking back, we probably should have done an extra run there. And we put a lot of pressure on ourselves for the last run, and I got a little bit of traffic, and I just went off and didn't do a lap. So it's not that the speed wasn't there. We just didn't do a proper lap. So yeah, and it's in this season when it's so close to overtake, it's so tough that qualifying is just very important.
Look, last one from me. A lot has been made in recent days about the impact that Laurent Mekies is having at Red Bull Racing. Can I ask you about the impact that Alan Permain is having on Racing Bulls?
Obviously, they both work together, through the start of this year and for the last couple of years. So they're a very strong team together, and obviously with Laurent going to Red Bull and Alan taking over, I think his procedures, his process is very, very similar to Laurent, honestly. They both obviously come from engineering backgrounds, very, very smart guys, and very good at pushing the team, especially on the engineering side, to have a quick car. And I think that's what we've had this year. It's what we've sort of kept, pushing through with the last few races as well with Alan. And yeah, they've both been very, very good.
Okay, Liam, thank you, and good luck this weekend. Let's open this to the floor, to the broadcasters first. Who's got the first question? Rachel, please.
Rachel Brooks, Sky Sports F1. Liam, there's obviously rumours around about Isaac possibly stepping into that Red Bull seat next year. Can I ask you for your advice for him if that is the case, or for anyone taking up that seat?
I mean, honestly, I think from the outside, obviously, we all look in and see how it's a very tough place to be. For me, it's hard to, I guess, look back on and have a proper comparison, just because it was just the two races. But I think just to prepare well, I think for me, I look back and I prepared. I tried to do everything I could. Obviously, we can always do things better and look back on that. But I would honestly just say don't ignore everything that's really being said, and I think it's being maybe over talked about maybe how difficult it is and stuff like this. At the end of the day, we're all racing drivers. We all have to have enough self-confidence to be in the sport in the first place. We don't come here, thinking that other people are better than us. Otherwise, we wouldn't be here. So I think to just have faith in yourself. He's done a good job this year, and I think he needs to just, if that's the case, just focus on the job and focus on preparing the best he can and not listening to everything that's said about what it's going to be like, because at the end of the day, nobody actually knows. Only the guys that have done it.
Thanks for that. Harry?
Harry Benjamin, Sky Sports F1. A follow-up for Liam, if possible. You've recently said that in light of what's happened to you at the start of the year, your F1 World Championship dreams have shifted. I just wonder, where do you see the future going now for yourself, and when do you think you'll know where you'll be next year?
I think hopefully in the next few races. It's obviously hard to know, but yeah, I think it's obviously we're all chasing the dream, and I think the first goal is getting into Formula One. But obviously, we're all here to try and win. And I think I spent a long time, especially joining as a junior when I was 17 years old. I was just looking at how do I get to Red Bull Racing, and that was just where I saw my future. And I think I think maybe not that I forgot, why I do it, but I think that was so much of the goal that I think it's easier for me to sit back and realize now that the goal has always been winning, and getting to the top. And I think that's not necessarily, it doesn't need to be specific to where that is.
Okay. Next, please.
Hello, Margot Lafitte, Canal+. Question for all three of you. We're focusing on the little rituals, little habits drivers can have, athletes can have. Some fear it like it's a trap. Some carry on them all through their career. Can you talk us through your feelings about that? And if you haven't been through that, maybe witnessed something like that, or something you kept from your first pole, podium, or strong result?
Kimi, go on.
Well, yeah, I do experience that. I always try to keep the same routine. My daily routine at the track. I always try to do the same because it's something I've done since I started, especially in cars, F4. Of course, now it needed a little bit of adjustments because the day is a bit busier in some way, so I had to adjust a little bit my normal routine. But at the end of the day, I always try to keep the same habit, and also trying to keep things simple. Sometimes it's good to just do a step back and return to basic, and because sometimes it's the most helpful. But as a driver and as a person, not only on the racetrack but in my whole life, those little habits that I always had since many years, I try to keep them because it's what they make me feel comfortable, and also in some way they relax me in difficult moments.
Lance?
Yeah, I mean, the lucky socks and the lucky underwear, all that stuff. I think I'm in Formula One 9 years now, so you lose the underwear, you lose the socks, and then they kind of just, the little things disappear. So yeah, I like Kimi said, we all, I think, have our routine, warming up and, getting in the zone before the race. So yeah, I have my routine that I go through and my warm up, and that's about it.
Yeah, I think for me, I try to just be as simple as possible. I think if I had too many sort of rituals that I would try to keep consistent, there would be a day that I would forget them or forget one, and I think that would just it would just end up playing in my mind. So for me, I think the only thing I've done always is get in the car from the left, and that's just because when you're a kid and you race go-karts, the motor's always on the right, so you always got in the go-kart from the left, and I think I've always done that. So I'd be screwed if I ever drove a GT car that was the opposite. But yeah, I think other than that, it's it's similar procedures. You know, warm-ups are always very similar every weekend. Listen to a lot of music, and I'll always do that, but that even changes. So I try to not do too much of the same thing, to be honest.